to make sure we've got it. So I'm going to convert 12.36 inches, and I want it into centimeters. I've already told you the conversion factor for centimeters is 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. And that's a 1, all right? So I can write this a couple of different ways. I can write this as 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. That's still a 1. All I'm doing is changing my units. Or I can have 2.54 centimeters over 1 inch. Again, that's still a 1. They're both, I'm just changing units. So if I want to convert from 12.36 inches to centimeters, I've got to multiply by my 1, but I want centimeters on top. So the one I'm going to use is my 2.54 divided by my 1 inch. There's my 1 inch. My inches are going to cancel out. And I'm going to, when I plug that into the calculator, I'm going to get 31.39. But I want, I may want it in 3 significant figures. This one I want in 4 significant figures, so I'm going to write it in 4 significant figures because my 2.54 is an exact number and it has as many significant figures as I want it to have. Okay? So if you turn off on the exit up here to 60, it's exit number what? It's 214, right? So on that exit, I have 214 miles, and if you know how the interstate system works, that says it's 214 miles to the Texas border on Interstate I-35. But I want to know how many kilometers that is, because we're going to be working in SI units, and I want to know how many kilometers. And so I'm going to figure out that I have a conversion of 1 mile is equal to 1.609 kilometers. First thing is, hopefully you have a gut feel for how the how many kilometers there are to a mile, and you go, yeah, that's right, because remember, 1 kilometer is about 0.6 of a mile. So all of a sudden you've got, okay, I have a good feel for that. So I'm going to do my 214 miles. I'm going to multiply it by a 1, but I want kilometers to be my answer. So I'm going to put my 609 or my 1609 on top. There's my kilometers, and here's my miles. My miles are going to cancel, and I'm going to end up with the answer in kilometers. And when I end up with that answer in kilometers, I'm going to get a number that looks like 342.4. But that's not right, because that answer's in 4 significant figures. My one problem is in 3 significant figures. I need it to be in 3 significant figures, so the answer is going to be 342 kilometers. So that I'll have that as well. I can do multiple units, and this is where we're going to stop for the day. I've got a car that's traveling at 90 kilometers per hour. And I want to know how many miles per hour that is so that I can read that on my speedometer, because I'm not traveling in Canada, I'm traveling in Canada and my speedometer is in miles per hour, and I don't want to be speeding. So I want it in miles per hour. And then I also want to know what that is in meters per second, because I may want to know what my stopping distance is at that particular speed. So I got my cars traveling at 90 kilometers per hour, and so I'm going to have to convert to miles per hour, so I'm going to do my 90, or my kilometers per hour. I've got to have my 1, so I'm going to do it in miles, and now I'm going to do my 1609 kilometers. And I have that going. And when I do that calculation, and I'm going to go ahead because this is for my speedometers. Okay, what does it say? That we're about to end our meeting? Yeah. That's why this is our last problem. So I'm going to have that there, and I'm going to go ahead because in this case I'm going to assume my 90 kilometers per hour is 2 significant figures because it's the speed limit. So So I'm actually going to go ahead and put my dot there so that I know my answer needs to be in two significant figures. When I plug that into the calculator and I do my rounding, it turns out to be 56 miles per hour. Now, if I want that in meters per second, I'm going to start with my 90 kilometers per hour. And then I'm going to have my 1,000 meters to 1 kilometer. But then I'm going to have my hour is in 60 minutes. But I want it in seconds, so I'm going to have to put in my 1 minute is 60 seconds. So my minutes are going to cancel out, my kilometers cancel out, my hours cancel out, and G, my answer's in meters per second. And when I plug that into the calculator, I'm going to get 25 meters per second.